Shalom. Let's start by giving all praises, fear, and glory, honors to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahawashi, Ba'ashim Hakwadash. This is Psalms 19, verse 1. It says, "The heavens declare the glory of power, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Their line is gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun, which is a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoiceth as a strong man to run a race." That's heavy. It's beautiful. Because the Lord basically is showing us how our faith and our life in Yahawashi is transparent to how life is in general. See, again, it says, "The heavens declare the glory of power. The firmament showeth his handiwork." So we're able to see the clouds, the sun, the moon, the stars, the winds, the water, the rain, thunders, all these things. These are just part of the Lord's handiwork. But we are also part of his work. Everything that we see around us is the Lord's work. Verse 2 says, "Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge." So the day, it's when the Lord tells us to blow the trumpet, to share this message. And in the night, right, it showeth the knowledge, because that's how we, in the night, you see, you reap what you sow. You receive knowledge. Verse 3, "There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard." The Lord is allowing us to be his mouthpiece, and that's why the whole world has heard us. Now, the problem is that the multitude are rejecting what we're saying because they reject the Lord. But a few are hearkening and following and taking actions to be on the Lord's side. Verse 4, "Their line is gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world." That's where we're at right now, man. We're at the end of the world, and we're still giving out the message. In them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun, which is as a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoiceth as a strong man to run a race. So we're running this race, man, and the Lord is rejoicing with us. Again, it says bridegroom, the tabernacle for the sun. Verse 6, "His going forth is from the end of the heaven, and his circuit unto the ends of it. And there is nothing hid from the heat thereof. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure." And that's what we have. We have the testimony of the Lord. That's the only thing that is true. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. The statutes of the Lord are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandment of the Lord is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of the Lord is clean, enduring forever. The judgments of the Lord are true and righteous altogether. More to be desired are they than gold, yea, than much fine gold, sweeter also than honey and the honeycomb. Moreover, by them is thy servant warned, and in keeping them there is great reward. Beautiful. So by us being warned, that's mercy right there. And we're showing mercy unto our people also. We're warning guys, not because we're exalting ourselves, but because we were warned ourselves and we received it and we were saved. You know, we received the cover of the Lord. Psalms 19 verse 12. Who can understand his errors? Cleanse thou me from secret faults. Right, we don't want to have secret faults, secret sins. You see, we don't want to be like these false prophets and false brothers. They're living a false life. They're acting, you see. They're putting a front. But when the camera turns off, they're doing whole types of wickedness, man. Verse 13, keep back thy servant also from presumptuous sins. Let them not have dominion over me. Then shall I be upright, and I shall be innocent from the great transgression. There it is, man. That's the main goal. Be clean, please the Lord, so that you can be innocent from the great transgression and protected from the second death. Verse 14, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. Verse 20, the Lord hear thee in the day of trouble. The name of the power of Jacob defend thee. Right, that's the thing. Our reason why we're daily pleasing the Lord, whether we're reading, listening to one another, sharpening each other, meditating, praying, reading, putting up videos, is so that when the trouble arrives, when everybody's in trouble, we won't be in trouble, because we built up the tabernacle. We built up the house of David. We built up, a safe place, which is in Yahawashi. We grew in that. Verse 2, send thee help from the sanctuary and strengthen thee out of Zion. Remember all thy offerings and accept thy burnt sacrifices. Grant thee according to thine own heart and fulfill all thy counsel. We will rejoice in thy salvation, and in the name of our power he will set up our banners, and the Lord fulfill all thy petitions. The Lord is fulfilling all our petitions. So let me get that word petition real quick. It says to make a request to someone, especially to make a formal written request to an authority. His people petitioned the government from permission to use the steps of the Okay, so yeah, it's basically receiving the authority that the higher power has. That's heavy, man. It says verse 6. Now know I that the Lord saveth his anointed. He will hear him from his holy heaven with the saving strength of his right hand. Some trust in chariots. Whoo, man. It says, verse 7, Psalms 20, verse 7. Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we will remember the name of the Lord our power, Hamashiach, Yahawashi. They are brought down and fallen, but we are risen. We have risen and stand upright. Save, Lord, let the King hear us when we call. Hey, let the power, the King of Kings, Yahawashi Mashiach, hear us when we call, man. It's beautiful. Many people, right, in this truth that they believe, and they're not really in the faith of Yahawashi. You know, they're just in a camp. And they really believe and trust in chariots. You know, they trust in horses, you know, strength of men, muscles, money, things that you own in the world, fame. They believe in things that are of the world, man, and the things that you can see with your eyes. But they don't believe in the things that you can see through your spirit, through the faith of Yahawashi. They don't believe what the Lord promised us because they don't see it and they don't believe it, and they don't have eyes to see the things that are above. All they see is the things that are below because they are from below. Psalms 21. The king shall joy in thy strength, O Lord, and in thy salvation how greatly shall he rejoice. Thou hast given him his heart's desire, and hast not withholden the request of his lips. For thou preventest him with the blessings of goodness. Thou settest a crown pure gold on his head. He asked life of thee, and thou gavest it him. Right, we ask for life, and the Lord is giving us life. Everlasting life, man. So he asked life of thee, and thou gavest it him, even length of days forever and ever. In his glory is great in thy salvation. Honor and majesty hast thou laid upon him. For thou hast made him most blessed forever. Thou hast made him exceeding glad with thy countenance. For the king trusteth in the Lord, and through the mercy of the Most High he shall not be moved. Man, that's beautiful, man. This is what shows that we have the victory. We have power, man, to slay thousands of demons and false people and false doctrines and creeping things. We literally are slaughtering them, man. Again, verse 7 says, for the king trusted in the Lord, and through the mercy of the Most High he shall not be moved. We're not moving, man. Verse 8, thine hand shall find out all thine enemies. Thy right hand shall find out those that hate thee. Thou shalt make them as a fiery oven in the time of thine anger. The Lord shall swallow them up in his wrath, and the fire shall devour them. When something is being devoured, it means it's being brought down, broken into pieces, being demolished, being out of existence. It's the worst type of torture. Guy's gonna be really receiving a heavy judgment, man. Verse 10, their fruit shalt thou destroy from the earth, and their seed from among the children of men. For they intended evil against thee. They imagined a mischievous device, which they are not able to perform. That's why they always talking about Mark of the Beast, and all these things that Esau is doing. But these false prophets, they focus on on making videos and only talking about that. And at some level, they're doing so much that they're basically worshiping it, But again, it says they imagined a mischievous device which they are not able to perform. The wicked is not going to get the victory because the Lord is God over the righteous. The Lord has a remnant that are pleasing him and are on track with the prophecies, and they're on the Lord's right hand. Verse 12, therefore thou shalt make them turn their back when thou shalt make ready thy arrows upon thy strings against the face of them. Be thou exalted, Lord, in thy own strength. So will we sing and praise thy power. We need to continue singing and praising the power of Yahawashi Mashiach, because that's what we have in us. So the more we praise and we please the Lord, right, the more stronger we get, because he's the force. He's our main source. So with that, let's give all praises, fear, and glory, and honors to Yahweh. I love you, brothers and sisters. Shalom, the elect warriors. Bow to you, wicked and false. And shalom, peace and blessings. And continue praying for a few days and continue strengthening up each other with the words of Yahawashi. Shalom.